One fact we all forget each and every day is that one day we're going to die. This may sound like a dreadful and terrifying thought, but it's one that I want you to understand moving throughout this video. When we think about life, we have the ability to live in the moment, do everything we want, and you only live once, right? But when we talk about how we're going to change, how we evolve as a person, we tend to forget that there is a clear end to each and every one of our lives, including myself. And when I thought about that, I wanted to change my life for the better. In this video, I want to discuss that said topic of how my mindset has evolved. And the way I've done this is to live life like a book, not a movie, not a TV show, or even a video game. A book. Everything changes when you view this perspective I'm going to explain in this video, and I hope you can use this knowledge wisely to improve your life for the better. Hello, I am Arnel Arcega, and I'm one of the healthiest authors and writers on this platform. As such, I educate people on how to read and write so that they can become better readers and writers in the long run. If you want personal help to write your own story, whether fictional, non-fiction, then check out my Instagram down the link in the description, as well as my books down there as well. For now, let's discuss the topic of living life like a book, the 3 easiest ways to demonstrate this for the best possible results. First and foremost, book structure. When we think about a book, whether it is fictional or nonfiction, we have a 3-act structure from beginning to end. One of my favorite stories of all time that really dives into life is No Longer Human by Osamu Dazai. It is one of the most cryptic and terrifying stories I've ever read, but the structure of the book is powerful. It's palpable to read because when we view the 3-act structure in a nutshell, you are moving throughout the story. We begin a story, whether it's mine or yours, on a character. It is someone deeply driven with conflict. They have a problem they need to overcome, and they want to become better people in the long run. Over the course of this 3-act structure from beginning to end, we evolve as someone. We become more tangible, and by the end, we are someone either different from where we are before, or we're the same person and we learn something new from where we began. This is similar to Osamu Dazai's No Longer Human, as the character, despite ending up in a conflict worse than where he began, still went through a process of a book structure. They went through the 3-act structure from beginning to end. And it doesn't even have to be from one contained story. It can be something like The Lord of the Rings, split between 3 separate acts, or another great story, The Magic Strings of Paulo Coelho, with an entire life story that still dives into the 3-act structure. This affects your life because when we think about our own structure, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, or even in a lifetime orientation, we have to follow a structure that allows us to get to the end of the day, the end of the week, or even the end of the year. We have to be different people from where we began, and if we want to change, we have to admit that there is a structure we're going to move through. The easiest way I find this is the second big point of this video: chapters. Chapters are what differentiates books between movies, TV shows, video games, and any other medium you can think of. When we view chapters, they are this massive break in between the story or information we are reading. Take, for instance, 20 spiritual lessons for creating the life you want. This is an interesting nonfiction book I've been reading for the past few months. And when I view things such as chapters, they break between each lesson. In cases such as stories, they use it to make the story easier and more digestible. It's so easy to tell a story front to back, but without chapters, we aren't having the ability to breathe. And for you, when you live life like a book, always remember that there are periods in which you need to breathe. There's a reason why we have 24 hours in a day, because when we live throughout the day, we have the ability to punctuate it. We conclude the day and move into the next chapter and the next chapter, or we can view it in a weekly basis or a monthly basis. Whatever it is, like the book structure, you need to understand that there is a clear beginning and a clear end. And for your conflict or whatever problem you're trying to solve in your daily life, you have to break it down into chapters. I've been doing this well through the case of journaling. It's been the easiest way. I've been breaking things down, and each day feels very important. I'm able to enjoy what I'm learning each and every day. And that same case should apply to you in how you're going to move throughout your life, whether it is things such as day-to-day basis or a yearly basis moving forward. And the third and final thing I want to discuss whenever we're talking about living life like a book is the plot structure. The difference between a book, a movie, TV shows, and video games is the pace of how it's consumed. With books, it is very similar to TV shows, but not quite. The thing about books is that you have the ability to either finish it all in one day or do it all whenever you have the chance to. You can do the same with any other medium, but with books, you can either be patient with the story or finish it all in one go, and you still get the same plot from beginning to end. And that's what I find most interesting, especially when we live our lives. Once again, we only have 24 hours in a day to live, but the structure of how we're going to live, that is what I find crucial. We can rise and up to a climax, conclude with whatever we're making, and this is how we should view our own life. The easiest way I've done this is by making my own stories. By writing my own books, I am able to see the exact climax of what I'm going through at that period of life. I remember when I was writing my second book, Artist v Critic, I thought about how this structure should affect me as a person when it was coming down to the end of the school year, tests, and just the general warm feeling of summer. This structure of the climax to the conclusion helped me understand what I can improve moving forward. That was the end of that season of my life. But every season, you should be striving to be better. I would say about every 6 months, because when we see a new tier, a new level of who we are as readers and writers, we become much more intelligent, stronger, and sharper in what we're creating. And that alone should make us more effective in living the life we want. For me, I've just been having this ability to enjoy life in its moments and to live it out like a book. Be able to read my thoughts, curate the details left and right, sometimes even see the perspective of other people. You do not get that in a video game. You do not get that in a movie or a TV show. And you can do this in multiple ways, such as first or even third person. Whatever the case is, like a book, you have a story to tell. And your story must have not just a beginning and end, but a rise, an eventual climax, a falling out, and then last but not least, a resolution. And the final thing I want to discuss is mainly just the conclusion. I know it's a lot to process when you think about how to live life like a book, but it is extremely helpful when you consider that books are these dying breeds. We aren't seeing real stories told anymore because we're always clicking for the next big thing. And I find these stories, what I'm trying to tell, manageable because of what I'm doing here. Once again, you can always live throughout your day every 24 hours. But the best thing about it, when you break it down into chapters, you have a structure from beginning to end, and you know how the plot is moving, you will always end up in the conclusion. That conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, is one that you decide for yourself. Whether it is something that ends positively, like The Magic Strings of Paulo Coelho, or negatively, like No Longer Human, it is your choice to decide how you want to tell your book moving forward. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Use this information wisely to continue improving and changing your life. I'm grateful for you coming to watch this video, and I hope you can support me in more ways than one. Click that subscribe. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel, and if you want more personal help, then check out my Instagram down the link in the description, and my books down there as well. I am Arnel Arcega, and until next time, keep on reading, keep on writing, and take care.